You know that nagging pain, right? The one in your knee or your elbow or your Achilles that just refuses to go away? It's incredibly frustrating. And for years, the advice has always been the same: just rest it. But what if that's the absolute worst thing you could do? We're going to get into some really surprising science that is flipping our entire understanding of how these stubborn injuries actually heal.
First, just to get a sense of how big this problem is, check this out. A whopping 75% of the injuries that keep our favorite pro athletes on the sidelines are tendon injuries. That's not just some small statistic, it is the #1 reason they're out of the game. But this isn't just about them. This affects pretty much all of us.
So why are these things so stubborn? I mean, at the highest level, something like half of all pro basketball players deal with patellar tendon pain. But the problem, it turns out, is way deeper than we thought. And to figure out why, we need to look right inside the tendon itself.
Okay, so this is an MRI of an NBA player's patellar tendon. See that bright white spot smack in the middle? Researchers literally call that the hole. It's an actual area of damaged, degenerated tissue right in the core of the tendon. This is our scene of the crime, and for decades, nobody really knew how to fix it.
And this quote just nails it. This isn't some niche problem for high-flying athletes. As the researcher Keith Baar points out, the same exact issue causing a jumper's knee is related to the kind of pain that can stop our parents or grandparents from just moving around comfortably. It's a universal problem.
Now, to even begin to solve this mystery, scientists had to tear down a massive myth, an idea that was written in our biology textbooks for ages and was holding back any real progress.
For the longest time, everyone just assumed tendons were basically lifeless ropes that connect your muscles to your bones. The thinking was, they don't really change, they don't repair well, and that's just the way it is. But oh wow, was that wrong. New science has completely shattered that idea. It turns out our tendons are incredibly dynamic and are constantly in a state of rebuilding.
And here is the real shocker. We all think of our muscles as being super dynamic, constantly growing and repairing, right? Well, look at this. The protein turnover rate, that's the speed at which it rebuilds itself, is actually higher in our patellar tendon than it is in our muscles. Tendons aren't just sitting there, they are buzzing with activity.
And that brings us to the central puzzle of this whole thing. If our tendons are so good at repairing themselves, why do people suffer from the same annoying tendon pain for months, sometimes even for years? It's a total paradox. And the answer? Well, it lies in this hidden biological trap. This paradox points us directly to the real culprit. It's time to meet the villain of our story. And it's a process happening deep inside the tendon, where the body's attempt to protect itself actually goes horribly wrong.
The villain has a name: stress shielding. So here's how it works. The healthy, strong fibers on the outside of your tendon are so tough that when you move, they take on all the force. They basically form a shield around the weak, injured spot, which sounds good, but it prevents that injured part from getting the tension, the load, that it desperately needs to kickstart the healing process.
Professor Baar has this brilliant way of explaining it. The world experts were telling him to just focus on strengthening the healthy tissue, the donut, because they figured the injured part in the middle, the hole, was a lost cause. But he thought, no, the whole point has to be to fill in that hole.
So here's the absolute key takeaway. That strong donut of tissue wasn't just shielding the injured hole, it was actually squeezing it, unloading it, and blocking any healing signal from ever getting through. The healthy part of the tendon was actually making the problem worse.
Okay, so once you realize the problem is stress shielding, the big question becomes, how on earth do you get past that shield? Well, the answer is this really clever two-part strategy that's basically designed to outsmart your own body.
The solution is basically a 1-2 punch. First, you use a biomechanical trick to force the healing load into that shielded area. And second, you give your body a nutritional boost so all the raw materials for repair are right there, ready to go.
So that biomechanical trick, it relies on this amazing property of tendons called stress relaxation. It sounds complicated, but it's not. When you hold a tendon still under a heavy load, like in an isometric exercise, its internal tension actually starts to drop over time as the healthy fibers begin to relax.
Anyone who's ever done a wall sit knows exactly this feeling. The first 20 seconds, you're fine, but then you have to start working harder and harder just to stay up. Why? It's because your tendon is relaxing, and that's the magic key. As those strong outer donut fibers relax, the stress shield drops, and for the first time, that healing load gets forced directly into the injured hole.
And here's the second part of the punch. About an hour before you do these exercises, you prime your body with 15 grams of gelatin, which is just cooked collagen, along with some vitamin C to help your body use it. This floods your bloodstream with the exact building blocks your tendon needs right at the moment the mechanical healing signal arrives.
Okay, so this clever combo of a biomechanical trick and a nutritional boost sounds great in theory, but does it actually work? Well, the proof is pretty stunning. Let's go back and look at what happened to that NBA player's knee.
Just look at this. On the left, that's the MRI from before the program. You can see the hole, clear as day. And on the right, after following this exact protocol, it's gone. The hole is completely filled in with new, healthy tendon tissue. This is the money shot. It's proof that you can, in fact, fill the hole.
Here's another look. And what's just incredible is that after 18 months, an independent orthopedic surgeon who had no idea what treatment the player received looked at these new scans and just declared the tendon normal. The player, who'd been in pain for years, was back on the court pain-free.
This all raises a really important question, though. What happens if we just follow the old advice? What's the real danger in just resting? Or even worse, immobilizing an injury with a cast or a boot? Well, researchers tested this. They took a rat's limb and immobilized it for just 3 days. That's it, just a weekend, in a tiny cast. The result? A shocking 20% loss of collagen in that tendon. Let that sink in for a second. In only 3 days of doing nothing, the tendon lost a fifth of its structural protein. They had basically created the beginnings of a tendon injury simply by taking away all the load. This shows that the wrong kind of rest isn't just unhelpful, it's actively harmful. Which leaves us with this final, powerful thought. For so long, we've been told that rest is the answer. But this new science challenges that entire idea. It suggests that for some of our most frustrating, persistent injuries, the secret isn't to stop moving. It's to start moving in a much, much smarter way.